morning, dear teachers, judges, and my very dear friends. We welcome you all to our imprint based on the book of David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens was a great writer and a social critic in the Victorian era. He was born on February 7th in 1812 and died on June 9th on 1870. Over that period in his life, edited a weekly journal for 20 years, wrote 15 novels, 5 novellas, hundreds of short stories, and non-fiction articles, performed and lectured readings, was a tireless letter writer, and campaigned vigorously for children's rights and other social reforms.
Before we begin with anything, we would like to show you some PPTs about the story and the life of the author. David Copperfield is the eighth novel of Charles Dickens. It is published as a serial in 1850. It is written in first person perspectively and is narrated by David Copperfield himself. The plot of the story is about a young boy going through hardships of life and succeeding with hard work and effort. The story is related to Charles Dickens' life too.
Now, we would like to introduce you to our characters.
Dr. Phillip's actual job is doctor. He is the one who attends Miss Copperfield when David was born. He is also the one who breaks the bad news to Miss Betsy that the much-awaited good daughter, Betsy Trotwood Copperfield, is actually a little boy named David.
Clara Peggotty is the sister of Yarmouth fisherman Lilian Peggotty and the aunt of Ham Peggotty and little Emily. She remains faithful to David Copperfield all her life, being a second mother to him, never abandoning him, his mother, or his great aunt Betsy Trotwood.
Tom Traddles. Tom Traddles is a classmate and an old friend of David Copperfield from Salem House. He is an unusually cheerful boy because he receives more abuse from Mr. Creakle than any other student.
Little Emily was the niece of Daniel Peggotty and Carla Peggotty. She was the childhood friend of David Copperfield, who loved her in his childhood days. Uriah Heep is a clerk in the office of Mr. Wickfield. He is notable for his flowing humility, insincerity, and dishonesty. He hates David severely, and later he was put behind the bars. She is a pretty young woman, but she also has a kind moral weakness that makes her a poor choice of head of any household. She also foreshadows David's own marriage to Dora Spenlows, who is equally childlike, foolish, and unprepared for a family life.
Mr. Murdstone is Clara Copperfield's second husband. She marries him when David is roughly 8. Together with his sister, Miss Murdstone, he attempts to teach Clara firmness possibly for her own good, but more likely because he enjoys bending people to his will.
David's father passes before his birth. His mother remarried and he got a new brother. After some time, his mother and brother also passed away. He was sick a girl. After some time, he was sent to the Salem House, his future school. After he passed out of the school, he got a new job. And after that, he married Dora. Dora also passed away. Finally, he married Agnes and lived a happy life with his 3 own children.
Marcus is the carrier of the cart. He used to pull the cart. He loved David. After some months of meeting with David and Peggotty, he started to like Peggotty and soon got married to her.
Now, let's get our bells tight as we move on to the life journey of David Copperfield.
The cart stops and David gets down with Clara Peggotty, her nanny, by her side. The weather is fresh and Mr. Barkis is also fresh. He looks at Peggotty, gives a giggle and drives away. In front of them lay a huge boat like a house. Who is this, aunt?
He is that little Master Davy.
Oh, hi Davy. Hope you are doing well. Oh, that's great to hear.
love to.
They break into a run. They run and they see beach. It is evening and they are still playing on the beach with the seashells they found in the sand.
I wish you could stay here with us. Will you come again to meet us and visit us? I had real fun talking, playing, and spending time with you. I should tell you a secret. Even though Ham and Aunt Peggotty love me a lot, I don't have anyone of my age with whom I can talk and spend time with. Anyways, meet you the next time you come. Now come on, dinner might be ready.
I will love to, but my mother is alone at home. I have to go home. I have had so much fun and got so much love here. I promise that I will come again here and play with you, Ham and Peggotty.
Next morning, the cart arrives, with Barkis driving it. He was wearing a brightly colored coat, a hat, and the cart was looking bright.
Hello, good morning, Fox. The cart is ready. Hop in with your goods. Why the long faces? Cheer up, Master Davy. You are returning home.
David was ready to return home, but something was telling deep in his heart that a bad news was awaiting him. Now, Mrs. Clara Peggotty is returning with David from their holidays with their carrier, Mr. Barkis. I can hear some conversation going on. Let's hear them talk.
I hope you enjoyed your days at my brother's place or in any other way. Did Emily disturb or irritate you? Oh, poor me. How can she?
Sure, Aunt Peggotty. I'm sure that those will be one of the most memorable days of my life. And as for Emily, not at all. We had a brilliant, playful time together.
Oh, my boy. We could give you nothing. You are happy indeed.
Ah, what a strange feeling it was to be going home when it was not home and find that every object I looked at reminded me of the happy old home that was like a dream I could never dream again. The days when I, you and Mrs. Peggotty and my mother were all into one another and there was no one to come between us.
Reach our destination. I will get the luggage. You all may go.
Oh, poor David. Now I'm happy for whatever I get in life. Hey, but stop. They're carrying the story away. Let us see what happens to their dreadful lives now.
Wait, Lavanya, let them take rest. Don't be so curious after all. Think of what would be going in his head and life. He would be furring after every step to their home's path, glancing at the window for his father, Mr. Murdstone. The same as David really did. I am running away now.
Peggotty, where are the others?
Slowly and slightly, he opened the door without knocking as he did and found no one.
Here came a low voice singing from the parlor room.
Ah, I never thought that we three could be again together, undisturbed, and I thought for the first time as if the old days had come back.
Lavanya, where is that evil guardian, Mr. Murdstone?
Mr. Mudstone had gone out on a visit in the neighborhood and would not return before night.
Oh, leaving Mrs. Copperfield.
Yes. David, Mrs. Copperfield, and Peggotty dined near the fireside together. There was a knock at the door.
Peggotty ran across and opened the door.
I was knocking on the door for so long. What were you doing? Were you planning to not let me in?
No, not at all, Mr. Murdstone. I had no intention of leaving you outside the door. I was talking to Mrs.
Keep shut and go do your work. I do not want any further arguments. And the door should be opened before I enter. Clara, where are you? I need to have a word with you. Come to this room right now.
He sees David with his mother and little brother and is burning with anger.
Yes, coming. David, stay here. I need to have a word with Mr. Mudstone. Mrs. Copperfield goes to another room where Mr. Mudstone is waiting for her. They have a long conversation about the future schooling of David.
Oh, here you are. I needed to talk to you about David's future. I was thinking of sending him to a boarding school named Salem House. The headmaster is known to me and he will take special care of David.
No, I can't stay without my little Davy. I will die. I beg you.
But it is important for you and for him too. You also need to learn how to stay without your beloved people. If he does not go to that boarding school, his future will be in danger. And I'm sure you would never want that to happen.
If it is for my son's future, let it be. Let's go talk to him.
Then both of them left the room, went through the hallway, and reached the room where David was sitting in front of the fire.
Davy, this is your father. He thinks that you should be sent to a boarding school for your further studies. He is right. Thus, I agree with him.
How will I stay without your mother, Peggotty, and little brother?
I understand your feelings. It is very difficult for all of us, but it is for the betterment of your future.
I don't want all this mother-son endorsement in my house. I want no more arguments. You have to go to the boarding school. We will leave at 6 a.m. sharp. You should be ready by 5:30 tomorrow. Go pack your bags.
Okay, Mr. Mudstone. As you wish.
As David walks away, Mrs. Copperfield talks to Mr. Murdstone.
What is the hurry? We can send him a few days later, right?
If he's fine with it, what problem are you facing? We will leave tomorrow morning as decided. And go pack his bags.
Mrs. Copperfield walks away sadly and Barkis is called.
Sir, you summon me?
Yes. I want you to keep the cart ready at 6 a.m. sharp tomorrow. We will leave for Salem House.
Sir, I will get the cart ready. It will be even there before time.
It better be.
Barkis walks away and Mr. Murdstone marches back to the parlor room and sees Mrs. Copperfield and David having happy moments together. Mr. Murdstone is furious and pulls David by his hand.
You, come here. I've seen and heard enough from you.
No! Don't hit my boy. He has done nothing wrong. I was the one who talked to him.
Now go.
But who can stop Mr. Murdstone? I can't see this. Oh God. So dreadful. Oh, they are moving on. Let's see. I am relieved.
The next morning, they leave for Salem House.
Bye, Master Davy. We will be eagerly waiting for you to return.
Sir, we also miss you, Master Davy. But please be a little quick. We might get late. I hate this man. I don't want to go with him.
Even I hate this man.
What are you whispering in her ears? I don't want any murmuring in front of me.
Nothing, sir. I was just telling her that we need to reach there before sunset. Sorry, sir. It will never happen again.
Keep quiet, you coward. Don't you dare whisper in front of me. Okay, that's enough. It's time now. We have to go. If you have finished your bye-bye, we can leave now. We are going now.
We are just about to reach Salem House.
Welcome, Mr. Murdstone. And this might be David, right?
Yes, this is David. David, this is your new headmaster, Mr. Creakle.
Good morning, Headmaster, sir.
Be more respectful to him. I don't want any complaints against you. Now go on. Sir, he's a very disrespectful boy. I want you to keep him on his knees.
I will definitely execute this.
Walked in through the corridor into his dormitory for a new future.
Hi, I have heard a lot about you from Mr. Creakle. I know you are David. Hi David, good to meet you. We have some food here. Come on, have lunch with us. Wait, now. See, I have a pack of cards. Come on, let's play. Would you like to play with us?
Oh, this is amazing. David found himself a new friend. I will love to.
David, the expression on your face shows you enjoyed. I don't think you had this much fun at home. You'll have fun here though.
This was a part of David Copperfield's childhood.
Hope you all enjoyed the show. Thank you everybody for being such a wonderful audience.
We hope you all enjoyed this show as much as we enjoyed performing for you. Thank you all for being such a wonderful audience. Doing this imprint gave us a lot of new ideas on how to jog our creativity and how to work as a team. Most of all, we came to know about Sir Charles Dickens and David Copperfield. Now we know that David Copperfield was one of Sir Charles Dickens' greatest achievements. In the imprint work, we learned how to assimilate our ideas, work as a team, help each other, and do our best. Thank you.